Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 463. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. It's Tuesday the 19th of November.
It is.
And I'm trying not to breathe in Laura's direction.
Leslie's sick.
I have some sort of stomach bug or something, and Laura's about to go on a trip.
With other people.
Yeah, some of which she might...
13 other coworkers.
You know, she probably doesn't want to be barfing on a plane, so...
Yeah, that would be terrible.
I have actually done that. Wasn't my favorite thing I've ever done.
Oh, when you got sick coming back from Karen's wedding.
Mm-hmm.
That was terrible.
Yeah, that was my worst.
That was food... I feel like food poisoning is always the most sick you will ever be.
Not wonderful. But I promise... not to bring it up again while we record, because nobody needs to hear that. So, works in progress.
Works in progress. Would you like to... You're working on something. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
Why don't you go? Because
okay.
Aside from works in progress, I have almost nothing to talk about.
Okay. Well, I just started a wee little toe. I'm knitting another pair of toe-up socks for Christmas presents. And I just started this wee little toe. The colorway is called Creamsicle. It's for National Creamsicle Day, and it is very creamsicle.
It's a Knit Spin Farm.
It is.
Sport weight.
So it's her Targhee Sport. It's nice and springy. I'm knitting it on my Addy Sock Rockets Cubed in size 1. Squared, thank you. So yeah, I just got started. I just bound off my other pair of socks this weekend, and then started this one. So tonight, because yesterday I worked on the stocking a little bit, and I'll show you guys the stocking. I did not knit at all on the Spectrum shawl that's going with me to DC this weekend. Not DC, I'm going to Maryland this weekend. Oh my goodness, those are different. They're pretty much, the same place. People in Maryland are like, no, it's not.
People in DC are like, no, it's not.
Thank you. Try again.
Thank you.
So I'm taking the sock with me in a Knit Spin Farm bag. I'm actually going to stick it back. No, I'm not, because I'm going to work on it as we talk. But that's going to go in my backpack. And then other things.
Is it just the sock and Spectrum that are going?
Yeah, absolutely. The sock is going because I get a lot of time in lines or prior to sessions starting where I'm sitting. So it's a good thing to sit on it and knit on. And if it's not a super intensive note-wise, if it's more like a panel of authors, then I can knit on the sock during that too. But both Spectrum and the stocking require charts. Well, Spectrum's not really a chart, but it is directions, more directions.
Right, it's not simple, brainless.
It's not Stockinette in the round.
Right.
So I did get through one repeat of the stocking.
Your colors are very even. As far as dominance and stuff, it's very even.
Well, thank you. I wish I could say that I was trying really hard, but the 12-inch circulars might be a mistake. Because it is making my gauge a little bit dense, but it's a stocking. You kind of want it dense.
You want to show them?
Yeah. Sorry, I thought I saw an error and I was looking at it. So this is... Yeah, that's the start of a stocking. It goes from the toe up. It is the Christmas stocking pattern by Faye Kennington. And it's a really cool pattern. It's actually $15, but it's got all these charts and stuff. And if you are knitting a bunch of stockings, definitely worth it. And she's got a top-down version as well with different charts. I actually own both because my intent is to knit some stockings. The white yarn is unknown. Leslie thinks it's water spun.
It's that, well, Mama Linneman brought back from when she went to Australia or something.
New Zealand and Australia, yeah.
She brought back some water spun, and it was really nice.
Which was a classic elite base back in the day. She brought back a ton of undyed. My mom, Mama Linneman, won a trip from Vogue Knitting in the 90s. It was 97 or 98. And she got the opportunity to go to New Zealand and Australia for 10 days. And my dad made it work where she could go. And, because we were, like, teenagers, I think, at that point. Like, it was definitely when we were in Pittsburgh. So it might have been it was earlier than 99 because I was in high school then. I want to say I was in middle school.
I mean, I would guess your mom deserved it. Like, she devoted everything to the kids until they were all, like,
absolutely.
in high school. So.
Like, she did that, and she went to Convergence, which is a weaving convention almost every year when we were small, and she was able to do that because she worked in the kitchen as part of, like, they give, like, scholarship opportunities.
Oh, okay.
So, like, where you can work for your, like, room and board or whatever. So she did that at that point. At least they did at that point in time. And Convergence is a weaving event put on by, like, Handwoven Magazine.
It's kind of like Stitches, but for weaving. At least that's my understanding.
Well, it's kind of like, it's more retreat and less market.
Oh, okay.
So... From what I've heard, it's more like that. You know how Interweave used to put on the spinning one?
No.
What was it? And they stopped like 5 or 6 years ago. Anyway, people are yelling at the TV right now. So yeah, so the stocking is working its way around. I'm knitting it on I'm knitting it on 12-inch size 6 needles. So yeah, I have 1 repeat of the chart done, 3 more to go, 5 more to go. It might be 3 and 3, so I think I have 5 more to go. So yeah, I'm excited about it. It's living in a chicken boots bag. I'm losing my voice today because I co-taught with someone else, so it was a lot of speaking today, more than what I
Was it a lot of you bossing people around?
No. It was me, like, sitting there. Their 6th graders do an ecology, like, ecosystem research project. And they had to they have to look at the ecosystems and say what are the abiotic, so the things that are not alive. And then the biotic feature, like, aspects of that ecosystem and how they interact. So it was me doing a lot of, like, just asking questions.
Audience participation.
Well, it was me, like, sitting at a table with 2 kids that were reading books about, like, tropical rainforest. And being like, hey, so what about a tropical rainforest is different than where we live?
Oh, this is the thing you do every year, isn't it?
Yeah. They switched it around a little bit. So what is different? Well, it rains a lot. Well, let's see if we can find out how much it rains. It's 100 inches a year. Okay. So that seems like a lot of rain. Is that an abiotic? Is it alive or is it not alive? Is water alive or not alive? And they're like, well, it's not alive. So then it's an abiotic thing. And how then would that influence the things that are alive? Well, that would help plants grow really, really quickly. Okay. So I just did both aspects of that conversation, but that's basically what it's like. Anyway, my stocking is living in a chicken boots bag, so it's me asking a lot of questions, so I'm losing my voice. But it's lots of fun. Like, it's my favorite research unit to do, because I think it's the most interesting. But yeah. So, those are the 2 things I have on the needles. You're doing something that's not even on the needles.
Didn't you show Spectrum?
Yeah, it's the same place it's been for, like, 4 weeks.
Okay.
It's not super exciting. I'll show it when I get back, and it's super exciting, because I have 2 hours of plain knitting on the way there, and 2 hours on the way back, and then hotel knitting.
I have a lot of random stuff on the needles. I feel like I do. So the first thing is Laura and I can't be trusted in craft stores. That should be lesson number 1.
Super true. We didn't buy that giant gnome thing, though.
We didn't, or that faux fur, which I then came home and looked on Ravelry, and there are some really cute patterns that use it.
Oh,
like
the Lion brand faux fur.
Oh,
that would be good for, yes. See, that was awesome, but it was only, like, what, 60 yards?
Yeah, it was like 60 yards for $10 or something.
It was really soft, though.
It was. So we were in Joann's. We went there for a specific purpose, but you know how that goes.
We went there to get some charity, some
yarn for charity hats and stuff.
Yeah, Lion Brand Thick and Quick for some charity hats.
So,
because there's nothing in the stash that we could use for charity hats.
No way.
Not in a super bulky, at least. We don't, you and I don't stock our stashes with
not
super
really.
bulky.
I mean, I
very
might
often.
have some, but it's probably not going to be a super wash. And I feel like that it would be inappropriate. It's not the right word, but it.
Not the smartest decision.
Right. It's not as useful. I feel like if people have to treat it with kid gloves when they've got other stuff to worry about. So, oh, I missed a loop there. That's fun. I'll just pull it through. It's no big deal, but I'll just pull it through the stitch that I pulled, like the brother. It's brother or whatever. So, oh, here it is. So you've seen this yarn, probably, if you've been to a big box store in the last year. You've probably seen some version of this yarn.
I'd never really seen it before. You got it.
So it's all... Let me take this off. This whole thing is only 18 yards.
What?
It is 100% polyester. But it's super wash. Like, you can throw it in the washer and dryer.
Yeah. It's good for babies.
So, it's this long thread, and then there's loops every, like, half an inch or something. And it's fuzzy, kind of like a towel. But softer. So like a stuffed animal, sort of. And,
like a minky material, almost?
yeah, not quite as soft as a minky, but similar in texture. So, you can, like, finger knit, or I forget what it's called, but basically you just pull the loops through. Oh, there's two where I missed. I'll have to go back and pull that through on the sister loop to it. But you basically just, you have this row of loops, and then you just pull them through. So it's sort of like your, I thought maybe I could do it more quickly with a crochet hook rather than use my fingers, but you're having to put it into a loop, pull it out, and then take it out of that loop and put it in the next one. So it's not really quicker to do it that way.
Huh.
But yeah, you're sort of knitting with your fingers. And I just wanted to try it. You know, it's a fad, and it may not do well.
What do most people make with that? Scarves or?
Yeah, or blankets. There are some patterns for pillows, because I went and looked, because I thought, well, what else could I do with this? Because I got 4 skeins of it. Probably I'll use 3 for a blanket, and probably be about the right size, roughly square, and then I'll have one over. Do you remember, I forget what the pattern is called, but it was a washcloth pattern that came out, like, I don't know, 10 years ago, and you would, it had like, it was on Knitty. You could make like lion faces, and it had like the big loops.
Yeah.
Well, you can manipulate this yarn in such a way where it creates those big loops too. So where it's just like sort of a nice bumpy texture.
Yeah.
So I might do that. We'll see. But what I was talking about was on the back. I see. So these are, I'm knitting it in Stockinette. So these are like the Purl ridges, and I'm discovering that there are a couple of loops that I've missed. So what I'll do is I'll just pull it through. I'll drop the top stitch of whatever row this is down until I pick up the stitch that's next to this one, and I'll just like combine it.
Oh, God.
To where it's in one. So it'll end with slightly fewer stitches than it started with, but
It'll be alright.
yeah, it's not about perfection. It's certainly not.
It's cool though. Can I feel it?
Yeah,
I'm gonna feel this corner.
it's mostly brainless.
soft.
Like, you do kind of get in a rhythm with putting the little.
It's almost like a chenille feel.
Yeah, that's probably the closest that you could get to it. So, yeah, I just wanted to try it, and it retains heat like a boss, let me tell you, because when I have it in my lap and I'm working on it, like, I get hot really quickly. So
I bet you it'd be good, like, stroller blanket.
yeah, or car seat or something. Yeah, that's
because people can just, like, throw it in their car and not worry about it.
Right, because you can just throw it in the washer if it gets, dirty, which, I'm sure it will. It's a blanket. All right, so that's one thing on my needles. What else? So I've got Poet. I got past the issue at the sleeve.
Did y'all ever hear back from the designer?
Yes, Ashley did hear back from the designer. But I don't remember what she said. Because then Ashley and I still talked more, because I ended up moving my marker to a different place than where she says to, because if you put it where she, the designer, says to put it, then you're in the middle of a repeat, and it's very jarring, because then you have to finish that repeat and remember to switch to the next row, even though there's not a marker after the end of the repeat, because you've already slipped it in the middle of your repeat. Anyway. And maybe it's just for the largest size that it's like that. I have no idea, because I was already confused enough. I was not going to go searching out the other sizes to see if this happened. So anyway, I have split for the sleeves, and I've knit about an inch past that. Yeah, about an inch. It is patterned the entire way around. There's no rest rows at all, so I anticipate I'll be working on this through the rest of the year, probably. And I'll intersperse it with other things that aren't 100% lace every row, because I really enjoy knitting this and I'm really looking forward to the FO, but I can only knit on it for so long before I need something that I don't have to think so hard about. So this again is Poet by Sari Nordland, and the yarn is, forgive my pronunciation, Biche Bouche. It is a French yarn. It's woolen spun fingering, very nice. Slightly toothier than the merinos that you're probably used to, but that's perfectly fine. I'm not going to wear this with nothing underneath it. Nobody needs that, so I'm not worried about it.
You thinking like long sleeve t-shirt underneath?
Well, the sleeves of the sweater itself are half sleeve. So probably I would wear, like, the snug, like, thermal shirts. And I'd probably wear a short sleeve thermal shirt. Maybe long sleeve, it depends on how warm this is. I mean, it is wool, so it's going to be warm. But we'll see. So there's that. I did cake up some stranded in the ice skating party, because pretty. I'm going to swatch for a couple of different patterns and see which one I like better. But I haven't.
What do you have in mind?
They're both basically versions of boxy, but with lace, very simple lace in the body, and then stockinette sleeves. I forget what the pattern names are. I've got them saved, but I'm going to swatch and see which one is a better fit. I feel like I can get more wear out of things if they're either short-sleeved, because I get hot more quickly. I'm a large person. I have a lot of fat on my body, and it keeps me very warm. So I don't need a lot of wool to keep me warm. So mostly I try to knit either short-sleeve sweaters now, or sweaters with some lace that allow airflow.
Yeah. We also live in a climate where our average winter temperature is like 55.
Yeah.
So.
Although this year it's already been in the 20s and the teens. But now it's back up to 60. So, weather. Aside from this, do I have anything else? I haven't touched my sockhead hat. And I swatched for almond tea, and the gauge came out fine. But I haven't started it yet. It starts on a corner of your shoulder, and you start with like a Turkish cast on, or you can do Judy's Magic cast on, and you sort of increase out at the shoulder. And I tried to do that yesterday on my lunch break, and things just went badly. So I decided I will start it when it's quiet. and I don't have to think, or I don't have to do anything else. So the last thing is, last night I swatched over the weekend at some point, and cast on for Miranda by Josie Paquin. This is my second time knitting this pattern.
I like Miranda. I like the one that you did before.
Yeah, I actually wore the one that I knit before on Saturday or Sunday.
Both, I think.
And I bought this yarn specifically to make another one. And this yarn is Leading Men Fiber Arts.
Oh, pretty.
In the Spiced Apple Cider colorway. And so it's got these like pops of darker color in this orange, sort of pumpkin-y. That's the wrong descriptor.
It's like an orangey red.
Yeah.
With some pops of black every once in a while.
Yeah. I just feel like orange is making it sound less attractive than it is. It's
mostly red
color.
with undertones of orange.
Yeah. That's pretty close to accurate. It's a little bit darker on the screen than it is in person. So I bought this at the Knitting at the Estate retreat.
It's the only thing you bought at Knitting at the Estate, right?
It is. So I pre-ordered a sweater lot from him there, and then they shipped it to me afterwards, like a week after. It was barely any time. So it starts... I have made a change already. So the way that this starts, and it has several options. You can knit it long sleeves or short sleeves. You can add a hood or no hood. You can do a front pocket or no front pocket.
Yours has a pocket.
Mine has a pocket.
The other one that you made.
I'm making this one essentially the exact same. It's going to be short sleeves, no hood, and a front pocket. Because it's like a kangaroo pocket in the front, which I like. So in the front, the way that she has you start it, you're knitting back and forth for about an inch, and then you join it in the round, so it's got this sort of split here at the collar. And that's how my other one is. And there's just, I don't love that part of it, so I just start it immediately in the round. So I don't have that little split there right in the front. It makes sense if you do the hood.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing the hood, so I just kept it in the round. So you do like an inch in the round with ribbing on needles that are 4 sizes smaller than your main needle. And then you go to your main needle and you do some short rows to shape the back of the neck. And then you start going in the round, which is where I'm at. I wanted to get it past the short rows before I joined a second skein of yarn, because alternating skeins with short rows is not something I really felt like doing. So I am knitting this. So this calls for, I think it calls for an Aran.
I feel like it was a heavy weight.
It calls for a gauge of 18 stitches to 4 inches and a size 8 needle.
Yeah, it says Aran yarn right there.
Oh, okay. But I'm using a worsted. And I went up a needle size. So down a yarn size and up a needle size. I had to swatch twice to get the right gauge, but I was able to get the right gauge on a size 9, which is a 5.5 millimeter. And this is where I'm at now. I just finished the short row shaping for the back of the neck, and then the cabled panel will be here on the front. So it's nothing right now except a collar, basically a very weird collar. But once it's in context with some more knitting on it, it'll be pretty.
Yeah.
And this is my more brainless thing, because it's, aside from increases for the arms, the arms, it'll, sleeves. That's the word I'm looking for. I feel like, I was like, I know there's another word, and that's not arms. Once I separate for the sleeves, it'll just be the center panel, and it's very easy. So I've done it before. It's really, pretty easy to do, so. Yeah, the only other thing I see myself changing is she has the sleeves unfinished, So they sort of roll a little bit up, which is fine. That's how the one I have now is. But I think I'll probably do a little bit of ribbing this time just to give it a more polished finish. And the pocket is a little bit low on the one that I have, and that's probably due somewhat to gauge. But I think I'll start the pocket on this one maybe like an inch higher than I started it on the other one, so it sits a little bit higher and it doesn't pull down quite as much.
I wonder if your row gauge is the same.
I have no idea.
Because that would affect the pocket thing.
Yeah, it might. I don't know. But anyway, that's my novel of works in progress.
You've got a lot of sweaters.
Yeah. And probably when we record again, I'll have cast on something for the ice skating party out of Stranded. It's been one that I've wanted to knit with forever, so I'm looking forward to it. So that's it. Did you finish anything?
I did. Give me 1 second.
Alright, let me move the things down so you can read your own.
Okay, I'm at that point where it's like, you're done, or are you? So I wanted to make sure I had 26 stitches on each needle. Okay, I do on that one. I'll have to count the other one. I finished some socks. So these were String Theory Colorworks, and they are done, which makes me super excited. These are for Mama Linneman for Christmas. They are Wendy's toe-up heel with a gusset. That's this part right up here. You can see that gusset. And just the stretchy bind off I use is a modified Russian. And I like it. I think it gives me a good bit of stretch. Like, these definitely go over people's feet. So yeah, I'm into it. I had around 15 grams left of the ball. So still a good bit. I could probably get socks for my brother-in-law out of that, but not much bigger than that. So yeah, so these are going to Mama Linneman. Her Christmas is done. I have these socks to go, and then Wheezy asked for socks. My mom's knitting a lot of Rose City rollers, and he wants that, but he doesn't want the roll over him.
It's like a little
He wants
ribbing.
like a ribbing. He wants like a 1.5 inch cuff. So that should be super easy. I'm going to do that on the sock machine, actually. So I'm going to crank up some tubes and give him a couple pairs for Christmas. Because he has giant feet. Men's size 14, I think.
I made a pair for him, and I don't feel like it was that big.
I know. Mom's supposed to give me measurements. So.
But of course, I don't do project pages anymore because I'm a lazy bum.
I don't know. Like, it's been a while since you knit a pair
I'm
for
going to
him.
have to rip this out.
Aww.
All this hard work. No.
That's pretty far down, too.
This is the beginning.
Oh, that's the beginning.
Yeah,
Oops.
That's fine.
All 30 yards.
Yeah, it's only 18.
Oh.
So, no big deal.
Aww.
It's a learning process.
It is. It's a new craft. So these are done. Yay. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 more Christmas presents, and I'm done with holiday knitting for the season. Because I'm not doing a ton of holiday knitting this year for once, which is odd, but
Good.
It'll be good. I have a hat Dana in the works for a coworker that I bought some loop yarn for, Loop Fiber Studio yarn, and the socks for Wheezy, these socks, and then the Christmas stocking, really, and that's about it. The nieces didn't ask for sweaters this year, so
can they still fit into the ones you made them before?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Kids grow fast.
They do grow fast, but they have a lot of like gear because Julia does gymnastics, so she's got like her team jackets and stuff. So I don't know. I'm actually thinking about getting some people some Sephora gift cards, which is really interesting because our local... Did you know we have a local Sephora warehouse?
Mm-mm.
And 30% of their employees are special needs of some kind. So they hire a lot of DeSoto County school graduates. So that was something I found out this week, and I was like, that's awesome.
In the
want to support
warehouse or
them.
in the store?
In the warehouse.
Cool.
So that was pretty cool to find out. It's like a job work thing that they do.
Yeah, that's cool.
With the schools, so I thought that was pretty awesome with some of the high schools in the area. Spinning. This is where the majority of my time went. It is a skein that is almost as big as my head.
I laugh because the things Laura does to her body to accomplish her imaginary points is astounding.
So this is 9.3 ounces. It is 9.3 ounces because my mini spinner quit working before I was done. It was all spun. So I have another approximate 3 ounces to ply from the first half, and then I need to start spinning the second half. I'll probably start spinning the second half before I finish plying the first half, because one of my bobbins is almost empty. So the first strand was spun a little bit thicker than the other ones. So I got thinner and thinner as I went along, which is so me. So 9.3 ounces. It is 1,029 yards. So that's awesome. I really, now that is pre-wash measurements. It has poofed up a bit, and I'm thinking that I probably lost around 10%, which would be a little over 100 yards. So still in the 900 yard range. Portage takes around 2,200 in my size. So I don't know that this will be enough for portage unless I do a 3-ply of
I mean, you still have 3 ounces you haven't plied.
Yeah.
And you have 12 more ounces to spin.
Yeah. But they'll hopefully be the same diameter as this, hopefully. Yeah, I think it came out okay.
I think it's hideous, and you shouldn't spin and ply for 18 hours in a 24-hour period ever again. No, it's very pretty.
Yeah. It's got a little bit more fall coming through than I was anticipating.
Mama Leslie is just very unhappy with what Laura does to her.
It was really just Sunday that I didn't take any breaks. Sunday I was up at 6:30 and did not stop till 8:30 maybe. And that's because the mini spinner quit working. So the mini spinner is an e-wheel, and when the motor overheats, because it's been plying for 6 hours in a row, it shuts itself off until it cools down. But at that point, I was ready to be done. So I wound off what I had, even though there was room still in the bobbin and there was still more to be applied. And I was like, oh, I hope this is 800 yards because that's what I had to get done. And it's really more of an owl size spin because it's a 3-ply. So and you can let me get it close. You can see those 3 separate colors in the plies. So really it was over 3,000 yards worth of spinning. Singles. And more than that, because once you add that twist the opposite direction, you lose length. So it's like when you braid someone's hair and it gets shorter. Mm-hmm. Kind of like that. There's a slubby bit right there that I'll have to cut out when I knit with it. But yeah. Overall, not bad.
Not bad.
It's squishy. But I'll let you touch it with your pestilence hands.
I don't want to, because I don't want to encourage bad behavior.
But Jessica encourages bad behavior.
I mean,
because she was like, "Where are you on it? You could totally get that done." She's my enabler.
She is that.
But yeah, so that's 100 points for my house, and a nice squishy start to a sweater someday.
By her house, she means the imaginary points that you earn in the Harry Potter Knit and Crochet House Cup, which is a Ravelry group where people who are motivated by obligations and deadlines thrive.
That's true. I mean, for finishing, definitely. I feel like I finish a lot more when I play House Cup than... Now, is it stuff that I necessarily would knit if I wasn't doing House Cup? I don't know. But yeah, I usually find a way to get what I'm knitting turned in. But I only have one class this month because all I have finished this month are those socks. So
The month is only halfway over.
I know, but I'm not going back to work till December, so it feels like it is over.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy.
My kids today were like, "We'll see you in December." I was like, "Yes, you will." That is a little bit odd. But yeah.
What else? So we are not going to pull for the book review until next week for the giveaway because we only recorded like Saturday.
Yeah.
Friday. So
Friday.
The giveaway's only been up for a few days.
But yeah, the podcast didn't get up till Saturday.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll pull next time.
Yep, on episode 464.
And we were thinking about doing some more book reviews. So if y'all missed them and you want us to do more, let us know. We can totally go back to doing that.
Yeah. And if you hate book reviews, you can tell us that too.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a good season, though, of gifting to get some gift ideas. I definitely think Shoreland, which is available today for pre-orders, would definitely be a good one to add to your library if you're so inclined.
Let's see. For personal reading, I have been reading. I started The Starless Sea, and so that's the second book by Erin Morgenstern. She's the author who did The Night Circus, which I loved a lot, and have listened to or read half a dozen times at least. So I started The Starless Sea, and I'm trying to reserve judgment because it's a very different book, and it's a story about stories.
Oh, I love those. Do you not love those?
It's just the way that the story is told changes frequently. Like sometimes it's told as like third person.
So the narrator changes?
Yes, the way that the story is told changes. Not just point of view.
Okay.
But sometimes like the style of prose, sometimes it's told as a historic, I would almost say memory, but not quite. Sometimes it almost feels like the author is quote, it's like showing off to some degree as like, look how cerebral I am. But I'm trying to reserve judgment.
Sometimes different points of view, like, stories are told differently to, like, really emphasize the different points of view. Like, there's a kid's book
but it's not just points of view. It's like the narration style changes.
Yeah.
From first person to third person to...
Like, there's a kid's book, and when the point of view changes, the style also changes. Does the style change also occur with point of view or differently?
I don't know. I mean, it's constantly changing. And mixing in with that, there's so many subplots that you have to try to put together with what's happening in the main story. And, you know, that happened as well in The Night Circus, but not to this extreme. So, I'm only about 20% into it.
You're listening to it, right?
No, I'm reading it.
Okay.
So, and I'm not going to give up. I pre-ordered this book. I love Erin Morgenstern's first book, so I'm going to give it at least 50% before I, decide whether or not I'm not going to finish it.
That's a good goal.
But I also needed a break yesterday, so I started a different book called A Head Full of Ghosts, which is a little bit of a deviation for me. It's kind of a...
Yeah, you usually don't do ghosts.
Well, it's not really about ghosts. It's a really interesting concept, and I picked it up on the recommendation of someone else, but it's kind of a horror genre, but it's set in present day, and the concept is kind of like a possession, like this quaint suburban family, and there's this possession and demonic possession of some kind, and the family are in dire straits and they need money or they're going to lose their house, so they agree to let this reality TV show film.
Oh.
Yeah. The whole process of trying to
get rid of the demon.
Well, and make the, girl better, the one who's afflicted. So it's an interesting idea. I don't typically go in for this sort of thing, but I use the Amazon's, send me the first chapter or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Preview. And I liked it, so I'm still reading that. And then I'm listening to Sleeping Beauties, which is a book that is a collaboration between Stephen King and his son Owen King.
Oh, I didn't know Stephen King had kids. There you go.
So.
Huh.
And the concept of this book is a world without women. There's some disease or something. I haven't gotten to this point in the book yet where all the women essentially fall asleep and this shroud develops over their body, and if you try to wake them, they go into a psychotic rage and bad things happen.
Oh.
And so I guess the book is how they try to figure out what's happening, and a life without women in general and that sort of thing. So
interesting.
Yeah. It's a little bit of a deviation from my normal fluff.
Yeah, you're all kinds of hardcore stuff right now.
So.
Huh. I'm still reading Strange Birds because Leslie was correct and I did not get everything finished that I wanted to get finished this past weekend. So that was the one thing that I didn't get done. And I was hoping to get it done at work, but I've been working at work, so that didn't happen. Not that reading at work is not work for me, because it really is.
It is, but it's hard for you to convince yourself of that.
Yeah, it is. Another librarian was telling me how she takes 15 minutes every day to read, and I really need to get into that habit. But with yearbook this year, I just don't have that time. But yeah, I'm going to try to make more of an effort to do that. I'm really enjoying Strange Birds. The author is going to be at NCTE, which is the conference that I'm going to. So I'm hoping to run into her and tell her how much I enjoy it as well. If you see me at NCTE, please come say hi to me. I had someone a couple years ago come say hi in a line, and that was super fun. So you should totally, if you see me walking around, if you are going and you see me walking around, you should totally stop me and say hey. I am about to start on my trip, The Ninth House, which is a Lee
Bardugo
book. I have it on loan from the library.
And this one is one that she wrote for adults. It's not a YA book, right?
It is an adult book. It is, Stephen King actually gave it a really good review.
Cool.
Unasked for, tweeted it out to her, telling her how good it was.
And it's something about, secret societies.
At Yale.
Yeah.
Yep. Yale or Harvard.
You'll have to tell me what you think of it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm hoping it's good. If not, I have some other backup audiobooks downloaded as well. It's only a 2-hour flight, but instead of watching TV in my hotel room, I'll probably listen to audiobooks there as well. When I need my introvert time, I will do audiobooks. Sometimes there's lines to go places, into the big exhibition hall if you get there super early. So if I do and I don't have anything else going on, I'll probably sit there and listen to headphones and people watch and knit maybe as I wait. But yeah, usually I find something else to do. There's always something going on at NCTE. It's giant and amazing and I love it. So that is what's going on in my reading life. Upcoming things. Today was the last day for the SSK lottery.
It's still open. It'll be open until I get up tomorrow.
Yeah, but by the time you guys see this...
That's true. It
closed. Will probably have closed. So may the odds be ever in your favor if you put in to attend SSK, which is our annual knitting retreat that we hold in Nashville, Tennessee in July. Vendors have been selected.
But we haven't notified anybody yet.
Yeah.
Because we just finished it on Saturday.
Y'all, it was so hard.
We argued for quite a while.
It was Sunday. We argued for hours. We had almost 70 people apply for basically 22 spots.
Yeah.
Which is amazing,
Mm-hmm.
but the way we do it, someone asked in the notes on YouTube a couple weeks ago, is we have only a specific number of tables, a specific number of booths, and a specific number of doubles. And we start by filling the tables first, because usually they're the least amount of people want tables, because it is a small space. It's 5 by 5?
5 by 10.
Okay, 5 by 10. So it is a fairly small space. But once we get those figured out, and then we start looking at other spots, we look for people who have unique things that other people are not selling. We try to get a well-rounded market, so we only usually have 2 to 3 self-stripers.
Only a couple of bag makers.
Yeah, only a couple people who sell equipment.
Some people who sell sweater lots, and some that don't. Different
bases. So when we go in, we look to see how many bases people carry, and if they are just like merino, superwash merino, or do they have Cordale?
Mm-hmm.
Do they also carry spinning fiber? If they carry primarily spinning fiber, is it just top? Do they also carry bats and Rolags or other preps?
Because our space is so small, we try to cram it with as much variety as we possibly can.
Do they want to attend the retreat? Do they not want to attend the retreat? So those are all some thought processes. And we ask our vendors a couple questions, like what's important to them. And we take those answers into consideration as well, because we're not going to be the best fit for everyone as well. And we don't claim to be the best fit for everyone as well. So hopefully this year will be an awesome SSK market.
As it has been in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. We had to tell a lot of people who had been there in the past no this year, which makes it extra hard because those are some of our friends. But we also have to change it up because there are, I would say, like 40% of our population of attendees is pretty much returning every year.
Yeah, it depends on the year, but it's usually somewhere between 40 and 60% are
have
returning.
Been to SSK
at
before.
least once, yeah.
So we don't want to have the same stuff every single year. Anyway, it's a really tough decision, and if you ever have questions for us about the choices that we make, please contact us, because we're always willing to talk. I'm always willing to talk. So much so that I'm losing my voice today. What else? We're still collecting baby layettes for the Hearts and Hands charity. We're going to ship those out in December. So if you are interested in sending those, sooner might be better because of mail during the holiday seasons. And I think that's about it. I'll be back Sunday.
Yeah, I'll be Purl sitting.
Yeah.
So I will be working from home, my home during the day, because I have, monitors and everything set up, and I work a lot slower if I'm just using my laptop and not my screens and stuff. Yeah. So I'll be working from home during the day.
And Pearl's used to someone not being there from 6 a.m. until 3 p.m. usually.
Yeah, and then I'll be, I'll stay with Purl in the evenings and overnight, so she has somebody to
harass.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was hitting me when I was leaving.
No, Mommy, no.
Yeah. Tomorrow should be good because my flight I don't have to leave for the airport until 9, and she's used to me getting up at like 5.
So she'll get to lie in with Mommy.
Yeah, we'll get to snuggle a little bit maybe. Last night she didn't sleep on the bed. She slept on the floor. But I'm fine with that too, because she takes up a lot of space on my bed. She like stretches
Starfishes out.
Yeah. Which is hilarious.
Anybody who's ever had a toddler knows exactly what that is. Yeah, so I think that's it.
Yeah.
We hope you guys have a lovely week, and we will talk to you again next week.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.